G'day everyone, this is VSG Steve with my week 20 update. I'm a couple of days late, sorry about that. I had normally try and do these on Thursday night and had one of those situations where I recorded it 3 times and it just didn't work. So, week 20, or for people who are new to the channel, thanks for joining me. I had VSG surgery back on the 8th of June this year, 2016. My highest weight pre-op diet was 155.5 kilos or 343 pounds. My weight at surgery was 144 kilos or 317.5. My weight last week was 111.4 or 245.6 pounds. And my weight this week was 109.6 or 241.6 pounds, which is a 45.9 kilo loss or 101.4. So I've broken that 100 pound mark, which I'm pretty stoked about. Also the or 34.4 kilos since surgery or 75.9 pounds since surgery. Means I had a 1 kilo loss this week, or a 4 pound, and it works out to I've lost about 29.5% of my weight. So this week I've got first things first. I just wanted to do a shout out to all the people around Melbourne. Greenie and myself are having a bit of a get together on the what date is it? I'll just look at my calendar. It's the 18th of December, which is we're going to be meeting at Fed Square in at Chocolate Buddha to have a bit of a get together with anyone who's out in the community who wants to meet up with us. We've got a couple of people coming along who are pre-op. We've got a couple of people who have been post-op, and we've got a couple of hopefully we've got some veterans coming along. We'll still working out numbers and things like that. People who haven't been to Chocolate Buddha before, it's not a chocolate place. It's more of a kind of dessert. It's more of an Asian fusion kind of place. So I apologise for, I'm just looking at the camera now, I apologise for the light. I'm doing this in the day and I haven't got really great light where I am. So anyway, so it does look a little bit like I've been beaten up a little bit, but it's alright, it's not. I haven't, it's actually just the light. So what's been happening this week? I'm going to run through this a little bit quicker this week because I've got a couple of other things that I've been working on. So the gym, been in the gym a couple of times, still doing the gym, played tennis twice, and still keep running. I'm up to about 8 kilometres with my runs. So I'm up to what I'm now doing with my cycles are a 12-minute run, 1 minute walk, and then I do that 4 times. So it's taken me about an hour to do that cycle now, which is really good. Also took my 2 boys camping last week for their first non-powered camping trip. So which was pretty good. It's a bit of an interesting trip because we went away with some of the dads from Xavier School, and some of them knew I'd had surgery, some of them didn't. And I got and tested a couple of new things that I hadn't had since surgery. So I had sausages and things like some sausage here or there. Also tried to use some nibblies that I could use. So which were some rice crackers and things like that. So it went pretty well. Still, it was probably one of the most tempting times I've had of having a drink again, but I still didn't have a drink, so I'm still plodding along with not having a drink and not having any soft drinks. So still living up to my water. So I'm probably going to aim. I think Christmas would make me at the 6 month mark that I haven't had a drink. So I'm going to maybe aim for Christmas and see how I go then. One of the things that I did do while I was away camping was I pretty much stopped recording my food for a couple of days just to see how I'd go, and I had a little bit of success with that in the sense of I I thought, look, I didn't have power from my phone and all that kind of stuff, which was where I normally record my diet. So just took a bit of step away from that for the moment just to see how I went, and then started getting back into it when I returned home on the Sunday night. Also, I played tennis twice this week. I was replacing my old tennis side. They needed an extra player, so I came in and played. So I played Tuesday night and Wednesday night. And by the end of Wednesday night, I was really feeling a bit dehydrated, so I ended up having a Gatorade, which is the first time I've had like a sugary sports drink since surgery. So been looking into knowing a couple of my and I'm training reasonably hard, and when I'm at the gym and things like that, starting to look at kind of other sports drinks to try and get some fluids back into me. And so it'd be interested if there's any veterans out there to have any experience with sports drinks, if they've and what they do in the sense of after the gym getting stuff back into them and things like that. So I'd be interested to get some feedback. The other thing that's happened this week was on Friday afternoon I needed to buy some new bathers, and or Thursday afternoon I needed to buy some new bathers because my bathers that I have got are now getting a bit big. So I went into the shop and started looking, found some bathers that were 34 inch, which was, I looked at them and going, wow, they're not going to be big enough. So I thought, I'll try them on, and guess what? They worked. They fitted. So I'm still that. I know people have talked about when they've lost the weight, they lose track of what clothes actually fit them and don't fit them. So I had a bit of that kind of experience the other day. One of the things that I've been thinking about doing for a little while has been doing a top 10 list of tips from my experience. So not saying I'm an expert in anything, and I'm not saying, but these are just some of the kind of rules that I've tried to follow. I have to say I haven't followed all of them at all the time. So, but these are pretty much my guiding rules that I'm trying to use. So number one I've got is water. So people who've been around following my channel for a while, they probably remember my experience week one out of the surgery, where I hadn't been taking enough water in and collapsed and actually had to go taken back into hospital. So so since that point I've really been quite religious with my water. So always take my water everywhere. So everywhere I go, I've always got a water bottle. So and if for some reason I don't have a water bottle, I end up it feels like I'm missing a hand or something like that. So I'm always taking my water and trying to get as much water into myself. So at the moment, I think this is a 600 or 700 ml of water, and I probably fill up this about 5 or 6 times for the day. So getting lots of water. Number two, I've tried to do is set fitness goals instead of weight goals. So I think I've talked about earlier in my videos about having target weights, and I think some of the times my target weights jumped all over the place. So I've actually getting the point where I don't have a target weight. I'm not worrying about my weight. I'm now actually starting to set fitness goals and watching some other people, and when they talk about their fitness goals and talk about, I know I was watching, I think it's Perform from the UK, and she did a video quite a while back about not liking running, and that's fine. I reckon if that's not the thing that motivates you, that's not the thing that motivates you. But I think it's one of the key things that I've learned is trying to set fitness goals instead of weight goals. So my fitness goals at the moment, like I've gone through, my challenge was to run 5Ks. And now my challenge is to run 10Ks. My next challenge will be to try and run do a triathlon in February, which I'm starting to work towards. And then look, long-term goals. I had a conversation with someone who, when I was camping with last weekend, he's done 8 Melbourne marathons. And I was chatting to him in the sense of, do I try and aim for the marathon next year, or do I try, which is in October next year, or do I try and aim for the half marathon? So I think at the moment I'm going to try and aim for the half marathon back in October, and then my long-term goal would be to do a marathon, and my long term is start looking at do an Ironman triathlon at some stage. So that's where I think setting fitness goals. And they may not be the running goals or riding goals, but just trying to find, if it might be getting to the gym 3 times a week, or it might be walking a certain distance and not being worn out. So I think setting the fitness goals are the right thing. Got my number 3 goal. My number 3 tip is find others that are around the same time as you, pre and post, and don't compare yourself to those people. So I think we're all on different journeys. Some people's figures, especially when you look at their weight loss, you're gonna be losing more weight than other people, and you're gonna be losing less weight than other people. But don't try and compare yourself to others. But try to make sure you have those people around you who, and that's the great thing about the YouTube channels. You can actually find other people that are around the same time as you, and follow their journey with you. And if it's also find people that are a veteran that actually follow their journey as you're following yours. So I've done that with the Fat Kings guys, so Fat Kings Phil and TJ, and following their cycle because they've done so many videos. And so what I'm doing is trying to follow. I haven't watched all their videos, but what I'm actually doing is following their videos as I go through it. So I've been just watching TJ's 20 about 20 week videos, and then watching and Fat Kings, and then trying to find other people that are around the 20 week mark. But also, it's also good to find people that are around your mark at the same time. So that's where I've found Greenie great, because hers is about the same. I've got a couple of other people that I follow who are around the same time, with VSG with Al. He's one that I've been following, and it's great following Al because and especially being a guy, it's always good to have other guys around there. So if there's got other guys watching these videos, please tag me. Please leave a comment, and please get out there and record videos. I think we need more guys in the community. And even though the girls experience different things, and they're experiencing some of the same things, but we do experience things differently as different sexes. One fourth tip is changing your plates and your bowls. So one of the things that my wife did was she found some little bowls and little plates from a surgery in Queensland, which has your portions on there. And I don't really use the portions on the plate, but what I actually do is especially the bowl. I pretty much use the bowl daily, which has got half a cup, 1 cup, 1.5 cups. So as I'm eating more, I'm starting to just make sure that I stay with using those bowls. And we've actually bought 2 of them, so I've always got access to one of them. But and trying to cut down from using big plates and big bowls and things like that. So that's where I do. Number 5 is, and it's probably fairly obvious, but it's I think it needs to be said, is plan your meals, plan what you're going to eat. And especially I always plan what I've been doing in the last probably 10 to 15 weeks is always plan my breakfasts and try and plan my lunches. But occasionally with my lunches, and this is where I use the example of last Thursday, was I had a day where I didn't plan my lunch, but I'm starting to know if I go out and buy something, I know what I can buy it just also gives me a bit of an opportunity to have a bit of diversity in there. But my breakfast, I always try and plan my breakfast on the weekend, so I try and do a big cook up. A lot of the time what I've been doing in the last probably 10 weeks is doing some egg muffins. So do a big bake up of different egg muffins with some protein, so it might be ham or bacon or something like that, with a whole lot of veggies, and just bake them into little muffins. And then from there I take one muffin for breakfast each morning out of the fridge, just give it a quick zap in the microwave, and there's my breakfast for the morning. And then with lunches, what I've been trying to do lately is trying to make a salad. So I've been making a lot of quinoa salads. So we've made a chicken and quinoa salad. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. A quinoa, I think it is. Salad, which we make a big batch of it, and then I can take little bits of it. But it's now getting to that stage. My wife actually really, really likes those salads also. So I think we're going to have to be making a lot more of those kind of salads. Number 6, listen to your sleep. So it's and this is where I still have a little bit of problems with. There's still times that I have a meal and I go, oh, I've eaten too much. So listen to my sleeve, and when I'm starting to feel full, make sure I stop. So, and I've been trapped a couple of times. People have talked about some people have talked about that they've never had any vomiting and things like that with their sleep. I still probably, I wouldn't say regularly, but I still occasionally have a vomit after I've had something to eat, and and I know it's because I've eaten too much. And there's been times where I've actually eaten something, and I'm even when I've served it up, I've gone, that's going to be too much for myself, and I've still got to watch that. That's something I really, really got to watch. But next one, which relates to the last one, is understanding your sleep and understanding what the feelings that you get from your sleep, and understanding what needs to go in there, and understanding when you need to stop. Number 8 is record all intake. So I'm still not great at this at times. So I go through phases where I'm going really, really well. I think I did a 22 day straight where I was recording every day, and then I had a couple of days off. So, and this is where things like Kirk's challenge, which he did for Thanksgiving, the 10-day challenge, really brought me back in line, and actually started focusing on that again. But this is where just recording all my food. So I try and record all my food on MyFitnessPal, and but the other thing the one thing I do find a little bit difficult with MyFitnessPal is when I cook something up, and I know you can put recipes in things, and I'm getting better at working out how the recipes, but I'm still, I think MyFitnessPal is fantastic if you're using packaged food, but I'm trying to stay away from packaged food. So, but yeah, record all intake, so good and bad. So if you recorded something bad, if you've had something that you really shouldn't have, make sure you record it, because then you're not dismissing it. Number 9 is look up new recipes. I've always been a foodie. I've always loved food, and this is where I'm finding I'm always looking up new recipes. So I've talked about the quinoa stuff, and we've been doing a lot of that kind of stuff and trying to find new recipes and so I'm bringing new food into the house and things like that. And I'm finding trying to do salads is great. So and all sorts of things. I've done all sorts of new recipes. Like quinoa I've talked about. I've done the chickpea stuff. I've done some jerky at times. I've done all sorts of things. Some of them have worked, some of them haven't worked. So but yeah, try new recipes and try and bring new foods into those recipes that you probably wouldn't have tried before. Number 10 is follow the plan that the surgeon gives you, but also work out what's best for you. So, I know I talked about this early in the piece, that my surgeon was probably a little bit more conservative in the sense of my moving through the food processes. I know in moving through from liquids to solids to more other foods, where I wasn't allowed to have anything liquid other than liquid foods for 4 weeks after surgery. Now that was hard, but I also recognised that it was following his plan. So, which is great. But then also trying to work out what's best works out for you. So just trying to work out what works out and do that kind of stuff. And I know it was only going to be 10, but I ended up doing 11 points. Was enjoy the ride. You're gonna have your good days and you're gonna have your bad days. So my moral with all this is, if you've had a bad day or you've had something that you probably shouldn't have, well, look at the next hour or the next couple of hours and try and refresh yourself. So if it means, and don't beat yourself up that if you've had something that you shouldn't have had. So I always try and say that every day is a new reset. So if you've had a bad day one day, well, you can reset yourself the next day. Now, and it might come back and bite you within the sense of your way, what happens on the scales and things like that. But this is where I go back to my fitness goals and actually working. If you can work out fitness goals and get yourself back to those fitness goals and move down the track further. So. All right, that were my 11. I'm really keen to hear some other tips, other people's top 10 or 11 or whatever they want to do, and see how they've gone with it. I think it's I really learnt so much from watching different people's videos, and like some of the people that I've really learned a lot from is Al, from, as I mentioned, Greenie. Also, I'm just looking at my list of subscribers. All sorts of people out there. So Little Aussie Mal, Kirk, VSG Warrior, Tanya, Wake Up Wayne's another guy that I've learnt a lot from, and it's just and Andrew VSG Andrew, who's one of the Fat Kings. So learned so much from you guys, and I just wanted to give a shout out to you guys. So if anyone else wants to do their top 10 or that, feel free. We're really keen to hear your experiences. And and my final shout I wanted to do was to Hayley, who is Hayley's Corner. So she's going to be looking at surgery probably in February and March, and I want to give her a shout out, and knowing that she lives in Alphington, which is near where I grew up. So I think it's Alphington you live. So yeah, really keen to and I'm hoping to meet up with you at the Melbourne VSG get together we're having in December. So all right, that's about it. It's probably a bit of a long one today, but yeah, that's what happens. So all right, see you later, guys, and I hope you all have a good week. Bye.